If you've seen this channel before, then firstly, welcome back, and secondly, the reason I've been recording in the spare room rather than out and about is that the weather is appalling. I usually rant about issues concerning the UK, USA or mainland Europe, but today I'm going to be looking at the situation between India and Pakistan. For anyone who's unaware on how India and Pakistan got to where they are today, here's a very brief history lesson. From 1858 to 1947, India was part of the British Empire. And as an Englishman, I feel a bit awkward talking about it, because the way India became part of the empire was the way most countries joined the British Empire. The Brits turned up, announced, "Hello chaps, this is our country now," and shot everyone who disagreed, and then went on to oppress the people and exploit the natural resources. India gained independence shortly after World War II, but at the same time the country was split into the Hindu-led India and the Muslim-led Pakistan. And I think it's fair to say those two governments have been threatening one another ever since. Part of this is due to religious differences. There's tension between Hindus and Muslims, in the same way that in other parts of the world there are tensions between Sikhs and Muslims, and Jews and Muslims, and Buddhists and Muslims, and Christians and Muslims. Pakistan and India are both nuclear powers, but they don't pose much of a threat to world peace because, crucially, they're both pointing their nukes at one another. But militarily, India is vastly superior to Pakistan. The Indian army is better trained, better equipped, and better disciplined. And with this in mind, a Pakistani government minister, Sheikh Rashid Ahmad, gave a somewhat bizarre interview. Bizarre firstly because he's Pakistan's Minister for Railways. So what the hell is he doing talking about defence? It's not like the UK Transport Secretary goes on the news to discuss the might of the Royal Navy. And bizarre secondly because in a previous interview he went on record to claim that eating eggs for breakfast can cause train accidents. And if this is the case, then I should be feeling guilty because I had eggs for breakfast this morning. So if your train was derailed around 5:30 AM UK time, I do apologise, that was down to me. On a serious note, Mr. Ahmad also supports Islamic terrorist attacks against the Indian population. So not a pleasant chap by any stretch of the imagination. But in his latest interview, he came out with some rather outlandish claims about Pakistan's nuclear capability. Apparently, Pakistan has developed nuclear weapons which can be fired into India without harming India's Muslim population. Now, one of the most notable things about using a geothermal nuclear device is they tend to lack subtlety and nuance. Nonetheless, I'm intrigued as to how a WMD, which can apparently differentiate between people based on nothing other than their religious faith, will actually work. Does this mean that when the mushroom cloud has gone up over New Delhi and the blast wave has annihilated everything, when the dust finally settles, the local mosque and Muhammad's carpet emporium will be remarkably unscathed? The minister also claims that Pakistan has tiny nuclear devices which can be used to kill small numbers of people. But if you wanted to assassinate half a dozen or so enemy combatants, would an atom bomb really be the most sensible option? Surely it would be easier to use conventional weapons, or special forces, or if you're just after one guy, sneak up behind him with a hammer, because that removes the need to procure hard to find items like plutonium and red mercury. I read this story on social media, and judging by the reactions, the people of India aren't taking the threat of these, well, imaginary weapons very seriously, and nor should they. I don't want to sound like some ghastly colonialist commenting on the affairs of the subcontinent, but with a little added punctuation, the name of Pakistan's railway minister really says it all. Ahmad. Mad. Thanks for watching.